everyone. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Current. Your host here, Richard Carthon. And today I got a very special guest all the way out in Bangkok, I believe. And he is fortunate enough to spend a late night while I'm spending an early morning to talk all things crypto. Been in the space, teaching people amazing stuff, really talking about community and how important it is that we build community here in crypto. We have Coach K with us. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate you, reaching out and shout out to Brian Castleman, man, for having me, connecting me with you. You know, I love talking crypto. So yeah, let's jump right in, man.
For sure. Well, let's go ahead and get started with just a little bit of background on yourself. I know you're working on a ton of projects. I know you're a CMO of a couple of projects. Tell us a little bit about that and how you got first introduced into the crypto space.
Well, keep a long story short because it will be long. We'll just do a tick by tick. Tick one, I had friends who were mining Bitcoin in 2011, told me get involved. I thought it was pretty much like the Lemming game where you were like mining in the game. I thought it was kind of funny. They were like, no, you got to do it. Then I came home from Korea after a year working as a teacher there. They were like, you need to get in. I was like, moved to Bangkok in 2013. And my guys were like, you need to get crypto. You need Bitcoin. I'm like, everyone keeps telling me Bitcoin. It's like, I bought $500 worth, totally forgot about it. 2017, one of my boys back home called me up and he was like, yo, Bitcoin's $800. And I was like, word? He was like, yeah. So I was trying to scramble to find my Bitcoin. I couldn't find it. Like it was on an old hard drive on an old computer. Couldn't find, didn't matter. I was just like, all right, I started buying some. And the more I got in the space, the more I realized, because I was teaching and I'm a Canadian certified teacher and I was working in international school. And I was like, someone needs to like teach people this stuff because everyone was getting scammed. It's still, they're getting scammed and rugged. But right. I felt like, you know what, if educating people gives them a chance to not get rugged or not lose their crypto, I want to do it and I want to help people. And that's really where I started. In terms of projects that I'm working on, maybe you guys have heard this because we've had a lot of news and press coverage. Anarchy X, I'm the CMO of that project. It's taking like farming and esports and NFTs and kind of mixing them all into one to make a fun and a very visually appealing game, which you work together with your team to get the highest APY aggregated together. So there's lots you can find out online. I won't bore you with that. But it's a really cool project, and we just entered our sale with DAO Maker. You guys may know about them. They've done projects like Orion and other ones as well. So look that up. You can go to anarchyx.io and check it out. Another project I'm working on is called FinXFlo. It's very much like Orion, but fully regulated. We're already regulated in Singapore. We're going into the EU. I'm also not only an advisor, but I'm a non-executive director of the company. And we're also going to the US next year. So we're setting up an office there and going fully regulated so that, you know, when things get a little bit more toasty in the crypto scene, which it already is with, you know, Michael and MicroStrategy and, you know, we're seeing Grayscale buying, you know, more Bitcoin and PayPal buying more Bitcoin than you're mining. And there's a scarcity issue starting. We believe that being of the biggest crypto brokerage, aggregating liquidity from all the top exchanges, making deals with them so that we pass through tons and tons of crypto, that, you know, it'll benefit them, it'll benefit us. And then people that are coming in the space that are wanting to buy large amounts can do so without having massive spreads. So we're trying to solve the issue of, you know, you go on Binance, you can't buy 100 Bitcoin. You'll be paying $30, $40 difference in the price of per Bitcoin if you buy that much. So we're trying to sort out that and make it so that people can really trade high frequency at a higher level, which is what this industry needs. We need to bring in the bigger players. And not only that, giving people like you and me a chance to buy without having slippage and having all these issues. So that's a company that I came in and I just shook up a lot of stuff. I do tokenomics for I've done tokenomics for like 5 projects now in the last few months. And I've kind of tried different strategies and found ones that worked and didn't work, and kind of became like a little bit of more of a mastermind behind different strategies that you can use. And we can talk about that later as well. And then I also advise a couple other projects, Paid Network, which is putting like smaller contracts. So let's say you and I had a contract on for a deal. Let's say I was going to pay you to bring me on the show for a company. Let's say I'm in Thailand, you're all the way in the US. generally, if I screw you and don't pay you, there's nothing you can do. Like you're going to pay 20 grand or plus for a lawyer to come and get your $4,000 or $5,000. No. So people that do smaller deals, even bigger deals, but I would assume a lot of smaller deals would go through the network and be locked in an escrow. Then after we did the interview, you would get your money. And if I didn't pay you, the network would then say, okay, or did you do the video? Yes. Did you edit it? Yes. Did you do a good job? Yes. Okay. Then they would vote to give you your money. So it solves the problem of needing lawyers and wasting all that money. So that's what Paid Network does. My friend Kyle Chass, he's the CEO, and there's a lot of really cool stuff there. So there's other projects like Verasity as well that I'm working with, PlotX, which is the prediction market, like Augur. And yeah, I've also worked with a project called Freeway Token, Orbit. They're kind of taking traditional assets, putting them on chain and making it so like if you hold gold and you don't want to sell it, you never get money based off of holding it. But what they're doing is transferring all the transfer of half the transfer of the fees go back into actually buying the asset so that you would make money. So I know that's a lot and I probably went a little too long, but I'm involved in a lot of really cool stuff in this industry, and I'm passionate, as you probably can tell.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely can see the passion, and I mean, all four of those projects seem, extremely cool, and definitely want to dive into some of those a little bit more specifically. But before we kind of get into that, want to learn more about you. I mean, you call yourself Coach K. I got to learn, before we jumped on this, how you were previously in football, but you also did some teaching. Talk to us about those experiences and how that has helped you with growing community within the crypto.
Absolutely. So, being a teacher made me really confident and comfortable in front of other people. Playing sports, you do a lot of really funny stuff in front of a lot of people. I'm sure as you told me you're playing football too. So you kind of get your guard down, I guess. You don't worry as much about what people think of you. And so that really helped me with, transitioning in from a teacher with a comfortable job, getting paid really well because I'm in Thailand at a Canadian international school, but having a boss I didn't really like, and, being told stuff that I didn't really agree with, and kind of sometimes felt ostracized because I do things differently. And I'm really an entrepreneurial mindset. And, was it scary to do my own business, to take a leap of faith? Sure, it was. It was different. But I think that doing those things and pushing myself to that level was a lot like when I was playing football. I was undersized. I always had to work harder. The guy in front of me was 6'5". He was 300 pounds. He could bench more than I could. He was faster than I was, but I worked harder than him and found the ways and the technical ways to beat people on the field. So I got to play. And that really helped me learn that work ethic and drive. And now people know me, man. They say, like, do you ever sleep? Are you ever sleeping? Like, how do you do what you do? And I'm like, 100-hour weeks are nothing. It's nothing. It's like, what, 2.5 times more than a normal person? They're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, because in life, you only have one. If you want to make an impact on other people and you want to really, truly help them, you got to grind and you have to push, and you push yourself and push other people around you to be better. And I think that the more that we do this, the more that we help other people, the more we actually build community. We build, real trusting long-term relationships. And I'm a very big person on relationships matter more than money. Relationships are the currency that I value far more than a quick buck. I've learned that, if you want to get quick money, it's great, but not as satisfying as trying to think long-term and how you can do something, and building stuff is really amazing. So I would say that that's kind of like how my old life transitioned to the new. And I would like to thank Ryan Silverthorne, my former principal that I despise. He pushed me into this, as much as a lot of people look at negative things. I did a horrible negative relationship with him, but because of that negative relationship, it actually led me to make decisions that put me where I am today. And so, I'm grateful that happened. And so sometimes your worst situations in life, you could take them and dwell on them. And sometimes you can take those situations that could be a little bit negative and actually look back and go, wow, this is actually a really good thing that happened to me.
Right. Timing. I mean, just on that real quick. I mean, I want to speak to that, I had my own startup, coming out of college and getting into the professional world. And at the time of me learning about crypto, had not gone through a, rough patch within my own startup and needed to go, work at another startup just so I could, keep the lights on and learn about crypto, it changed my whole trajectory of life. So sometimes, even though you're seeing or feeling like you're in a negative situation, you can still turn it into a positive that changes your whole trajectory and helps you ultimately get to where you're supposed to be going, as long as you have the right perspective and want to grind through it. So I really do resonate with that. And I just wanted to, for everyone going through this right now, everyone's living in this COVID world. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are struggling in a lot of different ways, but it doesn't mean that this has to be a negative point in your life. This could be that moment that flips that switch that changes the whole trajectory. And crypto and blockchain and this whole community is a great way to pull yourself out of a potential bad situation that you're in.
Absolutely, man. Like, I'll tell you right now, I've never made more money in my life than before COVID and during COVID and after. I mean, whenever after that will be, because instead of dwelling on all this crap, I was like, cool, now I get to be home all the time. I don't have to waste time going to an office. I don't have to go out so much. I can just wake up. And when I wake up, I start working and look over my stuff, or maybe do 5 minutes of meditation, kind of get my head right before I start, and then go. And then, like, the thing a lot of people don't realize when they don't have a lot, they can all have a lot. If you're watching this right now and you're like, well, man, like, sounds easy. It's not. You grind, man. You grind, and then all of a sudden it's like click, and you're like making money, and you're like, wow, this is really not that hard. But you did all that work to get there, and it's kind of like digging a hole. At the start, you got to really get through the sand and all that stuff, but eventually you get to the clay and it's kind of wet, and you can just get it out of the hole, And so it's that grind that you have to have, and it's not easy. Everyone thinks it's easy. Everyone doesn't realize, like, all the other stuff you have to do before that success. And if you're not scared to do those things and to put the time in, anyone can do it. And mindset, like, I'm a trader. Like, I trade full time. My company is based off of trading. And the one thing that is the most important about what I do is that I don't focus on just the chart. I focus on what's here. I think about, how do I feel? How am I acting? And you really get your mind right first. And then you go, why does this happen? Where is this happening? You look at it objectively. And when you have your mind right, you do really well. And, like, I've helped so many people that were, like, not successful, or they weren't good at the investment side of things. And I gave them the mindset of take profit, do these simple things. And they started making money. And some of them made like 6 figures in the last few months, because I've been telling them, like, this is what you do, and this is how you do it. And you don't hold a project forever. If you believe in it, you can still hold it, but don't hold it forever. Take profit. You can rebuy it lower. And these little things that are really just your mindset help people so much. And that's where, like, the coaching side is, because I just want them to be successful. I'm not jealous. I don't care if someone says I made $1 million this week. I'm like, yes, you made $1 million. That's sick. Awesome. If I helped you with that, even better, And I think that if you feel that for other people and you're genuine, then you really do help them, and you build that community, because people want to feel a part of something. They're all stuck at home. They don't get to go with their friends. They want to feel a part of something. So build something that's really resonates with what they want in life. Everyone wants friends. Everyone wants money. Everyone wants success. But if you don't focus on the money and you focus on good mindset, good friends, good people around you, hard work, all the money will come to you anyways. So you don't have to worry about it. Focus on the people around you, the relationships.
No, you're focusing on really good things here. You're just spitting knowledge and facts, man. And the thing that I like about it the most is just like you said, so that coaching aspect, and even I'm talking about your background within the sports community, most people in life, anything that you do for the first time is a challenge. It is hard. And a lot of people don't want to risk looking like a failure, because unfortunately we live in an artificial world where everything has to be showing the latest and greatest of what I'm doing. But, like, it does not matter. Ultimately, if you want to get in and you want to learn, and if you're hungry, and if you want to be able to, create that potential financial freedom, or learn about trading, or you want to learn about like, how do I even get involved? And everyone's talking about how they're getting, making money from this new crypto space. You have to learn. You first have to educate. Just like you said, you're an educator. You go and educate people, but then you also coach them up. Like, understand every trade isn't going to be a win. But if you can learn how to make incremental wins and build upon it, and you start building some snowballs, like, then whenever your big wins are then offset by some losses that are going to happen, it doesn't matter because you're used to it. You can stomach it. You built up that stamina. And I think that's like really important to speak on, because a lot of people just think like, oh, you're supposed to come in and you're making. If you don't, you get out of there because, oh, I don't have the stomach for this. You have to build that.
Yeah. And the funny thing about crypto is this is like the most challenging industry with some of the people you come into contact with, because I had a time. I'm part of a group called Spectre Group. Really good guys in there. My buddy Bitcoin Brown, Lucky, all those guys. Shout out to them. And everyone in that group at one point, I had this crazy hot streak where I like literally said, "Go into this trade. This is looking good," and I was like, "Bang, bang." Then some people started saying like, "You never get it wrong." And I was like, whoa. I know you hear this on YouTube every day by these influencers, but I get it wrong a lot. They're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, just because I'm hitting 95% for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that doesn't mean that it's going to be forever. And when I go through a rough patch, it's going to happen. And then even when I miss trades, I'm like one of the only people on YouTube who will be like, yeah, I missed this trade. Let's look why I missed this trade. Or I stopped out. Why did I stop out? What was wrong about it? And I go and actually show people I made a mistake. And I'm really humble about it, because I think people need to be like that. They need to be like, all right, I'm great when I'm great. Cool. But let me show you like the reality of this situation when you're trading, And the thing I'm getting to bring it all full circle is in crypto, everyone will tell you you're amazing when you're amazing. But the second you make a bad trade or a trade they don't agree with, they will be the first people to tell you how you're wrong or you don't know what you're talking about. One guy said I didn't shave, and he said I look like a bum this week. It was hilarious. I was like, all right, I own a couple houses. I'm a bum. Okay, all right, nice. But it was just like they want to bring you down. And this is why I always bring people up around me. I don't let that stuff bother me. But you have to be really strong for that. If you want to be in front of people, you have to be okay with people saying worse stuff about you, even when you're doing stuff right. And this industry, it's the best and the worst, because you have the greatest people, but you also have people that will try to drag you down at any point. And I think that if you resonate with good people and you cut the bad people out, just like real life, you cut cancer out of your life, cancer won't keep spreading in your body. But if you let people with negative mindsets and horrible attitudes stay around you, eventually you'll go from the smiling guy who's always happy to the guy who's always negative. That stuff really messes with your investments. It really messes with your family, messes with your friendships. So, all the stuff that you do in regular life, you apply that in your business and everything else you do, it becomes a lot easier. I think a lot of people forget that when they're grinding so hard.
Right.
And, I think that it's so important, and so many people overlook it. They focus so much on the money they can make, and it's going to make you moon and all that stuff. But really, it's like, dude, if you make great relationship with people, you can make a difference in other people's lives, and opportunities will come every single day, and you'll be able to choose which ones you want and which ones you don't. And
Right.
I think like a lot of people need to hear that more often. And if you're sitting at home and you're like, oh, COVID's made me lose my job, or things are really hard. Like I told my brother, he lost his job. He worked for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the CFL. He was a director there even. They canceled the season. He lost his job. And I was like, dude, I've been telling you for 4 years, getting crypto, man. Like just even a little bit. You're so talented. You do such amazing stuff with marketing. You have such a creative mind. Like you're even more creative than me. Like, why are you not like, just, I'll get you a job as a CMO. You would be amazing at it. And he's like, I don't know about the industry. And this is where another thing that I did was, if you go on my YouTube channel, I did this little present for the world for crypto. A lot of people say to you, I don't understand that, or it's too hard, or I'm going to lose my money, or I don't understand these wallets. My mom did this all the time. And I was like, how the hell can I help people get away from that? So I made a course. First, I was going to charge people for it. Took me like 3 months of my life, really built it up. And I was like, you know what? Just recently, I was like, man, what can I do for people? I've had a really good last few months. I've done really well. Well, how can I give back to the community? So I was like, I'm going to put my course that I was going to charge people for on YouTube and give it to the world for free for Christmas. Like, spread the love, spread the happiness.
Yeah.
So I started out with the first 4 courses, and every day, like an advent calendar, I'm adding in a couple more of the course lessons so people can go through them and just learn about like the history of money, why Bitcoin is money, or the terminology in crypto, like what does Moon and Lambo and all this stuff mean? What does it actually talk? What are people talking about? Kind of like how you would in a course in high school, and then give them the pieces. What is centralization and decentralization, and what are exchanges, and how do you use them, and what's a wallet, and what kinds of wallets are there, and how do you secure it safely? And so I built that up, and I was like, I'm going to give it to everyone for free because now no one has an excuse. My mom would have an excuse. My brothers had excuses. I'm like, dude, there's 7-8 minute videos. There's 32 of them. Some of them you might already know, so it doesn't matter if you don't watch them. They're all on YouTube. So go watch them. And I think that, a lot of people like coaching and being someone from sports, we always want to give back. I played sports for 14 years at a very high level. This is my way to give back to people in crypto. So that's why I did it.
And to educate. So I mean, just on that note, man, like what's cool about this now that crypto has been having a good couple months, it's appreciated in price and people are paying more attention to it. I've had a lot of old family and friends and they're hitting me up like, hey, tell me about blah, 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 blah. And what's great now is, through cryptocurrent, I can give them videos, I can give them articles, I can give them a podcast. Like I can literally hand this and say, you have no excuse. Here are all the ways that you can get involved right now. And something that I'll kind of just want to touch on, and I know you have a ton of different projects in everything that you work on, and you talked about how important like marketing is, or just being able to create things and break it down very simply. But with all of the various things that you have your hands on, what is the reoccurring theme that people don't get, that you're able to come and clarify and show like this is important? And I would assume it has everything to do with communication, education, and showing the value of people.
Yeah. Crypto is a very community-driven industry. A lot of the best projects are not always the best projects, but they're the best communities, right? A good example of this is Link. Like I love Link, and Link Marines are crazy. They're like XRP army. They have a big army too. Why are those people important? Because they're the ones who spread the word and the knowledge and the education about that project. Otherwise, no one knows about it. There's 3,000 projects, 5,000 projects, 10,000 projects. Who knows how many there are? Every week we have a new project, 70,000 tickers, whatever it is. And how are you supposed to know which ones are really important? Well, the thing is, if you want people to talk about your project and know about what you're doing, the best thing is to have a really strong community. And so that's why you have a bunch of Oracle projects. I'm not going to name names because I really like a lot of them, but that's why you have a lot of them that aren't as big as Link yet, because they don't have as strong a community. Now, building a community, this is probably the number one thing you should do when you're in the industry. And it comes, unfortunately, with this industry, a lot of the time with some hype. That's just how it is. So if you want people to feel like this is the new big thing, I can't get it, it's not easy. So a lot of the projects that actually asked me when they brought me in, because they're from traditional side of things, they say to me like, how do we do this? How do we get people excited about a project? And that's the one thing that's the hardest for those projects. They may have the greatest tech or the greatest team or really good tokenomics. It doesn't matter. People have to like your project and know about it. So they say like, how do we do this? How do we get people in? And I'm like, well, it's a recipe, but at starters, you make it so that certain people know about it and that only they know about it. And you only, if you're going to raise capital for those projects, only go to certain people and make it very exclusive. People always want what they can't have, right? If you're a project out there and everyone can get your token, no one really cares about it because anyone can get it. But if you're exclusive, then it's really interesting. Then you use PR. You get some PR out there about your project. You get some interest. Then you get the people to come into the community. You get some influencers. So it's a kind of like a recipe for how to do this. And if you watch the industry and you watch the projects that have a lot of that hype and great marketing, it doesn't even have to be the greatest marketing per se on earth. It has to do with how you can connect with their emotions And then once you give them what they want, which is like, I'm in the new hype project, I got in, awesome. Then you give them what they need. It's the education, the understanding, what you're doing, how you're doing it different, what the token actually does and why you need it. How that, to be really honest, most of the tokens aren't needed. So why do they need the token? Well, what use cases does that, to holding that token or staking that token, what is it going to give you as a part of that community? And if you find the right amount, if you massage it out really nice and find that right balance, then you create a really strong community. And then the most important part is if you see some projects out there that you're in right now yourself, one thing that I've noticed is CEOs that are like super active in their communities and do a lot of AMAs after they raise the capital, after all that stuff, they keep engaged with their community. They see a lot of long-term success. And then there's a lot of these guys that they come out, they raise a lot of money, and then they're kind of gone. They don't keep doing podcasts. They don't keep going into communities and chatting. And over time, they lose a lot of the interest because there's 100 projects a week. How are you supposed to keep relevant? So you need to continue to connect with other projects, and you need to connect with your community. And when people love you, we see the memes, we see the stickers that people make. That's what you want. And I think that is the one thing a lot of good projects miss. And then they become very under the radar.
Got it. Yeah.
So I'll leave that.
That was a lot of really good information. Yeah. Like one, to create the hype, then two, to create exclusivity, then three, to educate and show all the different use cases. Like, I really think all of that's really important. And just understanding, do your own research and making sure, and this is more on the other side for people that are looking for these different projects, why they make sense. Do your research. Be part of communities like Coach K's, because you get you get to know, it's on your radar. First, you get to know that it exists, and that's important. Then two, you get to know why or it is or isn't a potential good opportunity for yourself. Because even when you're a part of the community, it doesn't necessarily mean you see a project that you agree with it and that you want to move on it, but you at least have access and you can make a move as quickly as possible. And I think that's what is really cool. Just like you said earlier about being around really smart individuals and people and expanding your circles, but being part of the conversations, because now you're getting even more access to things that you otherwise wouldn't. And now you can make moves, educated risk and things that you can live with, but like can make the decision to participate or not. But you can't even have a seat at the table unless you go and be in the same room, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the thing that I offer a lot of my guys, and I mean, I have a referral-based community. Like, I built that up for 4 years. I make sure that I don't let just anyone in. It's exclusive in itself. And the reason I do that is because I don't water it down. I want to make sure that I'm connected with all the people in my community. And it doesn't mean I don't let anyone in. I do. But, I try to keep it like not with thousands of people when there's no one active. Almost everyone's active, at least once a week in my chat, and it's pretty wild. But, the thing that I do is, because I've been in the communities for so long and because I was here the whole bear market and speaking at conferences and doing all that, I get told about stuff early. People come to me like, yeah, we're doing this new project. I'm like, what is it? And they'll tell me about it. I'm like, wow, that sounds interesting. And instead of going to my guys and being like, shill, I'm going to tell you what, you got to buy this project. I literally go and I'm like, this is what the project is. This is what they're doing. This is how they're doing it. And I give them all the facts. And then they end off with, do your own research. I'm not telling you to go and buy it. But, I'll tell them if I'm going to buy into it, I'll say, yeah, I'm going in with this project. I really think it has good potential. But I never tell people go and buy something. It's just not my style. I'm much more on the fact, like when I come to people with information, they know that it's been done. I've done my research. I've looked into the team. I've looked into who they are. I've looked into like what the use cases are. I've looked into like every little piece of the aspects that I think from a fundamental reason would make it a good project or a bad one. And that even comes down to tokenomics, which I would say 98 to 99% of people in crypto don't understand. And I would say that 98 to 99% of people don't even read the white paper. No one reads the white paper. No one cares. They want to know if it's a good idea, and that's it. So, I can break down a white paper for someone and tell them this is the concept of this 25-page huge document. This is what they're trying to do. This is the people they have. Can they do it? Maybe. And this is the token, and this is why it's a good token or bad token. And a lot of people have asked me recently, can you do a show on tokenomics? And I was like, sure. It's really a lot more simple than you think. And so I used some models like from PlotX that I did and Orbit that I did. For Anarchy X, why we did it the way we did it, why with my own projects, basically where I'm a non-executive director, why I came in and I was like, these tokenomics got to change. I'm going to change them. They're going to be amazing. And everyone won't dump the token. And they were like, what? An anti-dumping tokenomics thing? This is amazing. How did you do it? And I was like, let's stop giving everyone advantages. Like the biggest problem in this industry, you got seed getting it at 50% off or 100% off. Like you're getting a 2x guarantee when you get your first amount of tokens.
100%.
So,
yeah.
So they'll hold it, sure, if it pumps originally, and then they're going to sell it 4 or 5x. And that's a lot of sell pressure in terms of how much money the market makers then have to go and then have so they can buy that dip, because you're going to create a huge one if you have a lot of seed investors with the cheaper price, a lot of private investors with the cheaper price. And it doesn't matter if they only have some tokens and then everyone else is public. You still have the public people buying in knowing they're going to get dumped on. Well, if you create a model where everyone pays the exact same price for the token, whether they're seed or they're public or whatever, everyone pays, let's say, 1 cent for a token. When it launches, who's dumping the token? I paid 1 cent and I have no benefit. Obviously, I'm going to hold it. And obviously, people, if you've created enough exclusivity in your model, that not everyone gets in. So now you have a natural token, supply and demand model where no one's dumping because they haven't got a benefit. And then this is like a model that also a project called Coin used, where they gave it at 10 cents for everybody. And I think that is the way to do it these days. Stop giving people benefits and breaking it down like that. If you want, do equity. Give people equity, but give everyone the token at the same price and let it naturally grow the project. And this is something that I really didn't think about till last few months. Maybe the last 2 months, I started thinking about watching projects and seeing this perpetual, it's the 30th, 5 days before, dump. All the people dump their tokens, token release, dump. Okay, then they buy it back and they dumped up here. They're like, sweet, it's half off or 30, 40% off. And they buy it back when it goes lower. And then again, it rises back up a little bit over the month. And then 5 days before, they dump it again. And it's just this game. It's game theory, right? It's people just like, I'm smarter than you. I'm going to sell it in front of you. So I think that's like, it's okay, because the long term, eventually they'll dump all their tokens, and then that last allocation will come out and the tokens are all out, and then no one's worried about dumping, and then public will buy it because it's a good project. But at that point, how many other projects have come out that are similar and stuff? So I think that when it comes to tokenomics, people don't understand how to read the different models and understand that if you buy it for half of a cent at a seed round and it launches at 1.5 cents, you already have 3x, right? Yeah. And if you sell that right away, you've made 3x on your investment. So why would you hold it? You could sell it at 3x, and then when the price goes down, buy it back and get more tokens. So this is the bane. It still works. But if you followed Thorchain, Rune, look at what they did. All their tokens were out in 2 weeks, and they've done 100x. So I've seen this model used a couple times, and I think that if you're out there and you don't really understand tokenomics, look for those type of tokenomics. They're the ones, as an investor, you will not have to worry about this guy's got a lot of money and got access early and he's going to dump on me. And you can be a part of the project and not have to have that looming over your head. Yeah. And you won't find many projects that do that, though. But when you do find them, those are the ones to focus on as an investing point.
Right.
Yeah,
those are the ones
sure.
Those are the ones that jump all over it. And I tell you what, if you do a video on that, be sure to let me know. I'll make sure to share it with our group, because it is important to learn about tokenomics, and also as you learn about trading and everything else and getting involved. But I tell you what, man, you have dropped a tremendous amount of knowledge on us. But as we wrap up here, what is the final thought that you want to leave with all of our listeners here today?
Yeah, I'll leave you the final thought of, you guys are in control of your own destiny. All right. No one else tells you what to do in life but you. As much as it seems hard and you may not understand something, the only person that stops you from understanding it is you. There's YouTube. There's a ton of information on the internet. If you want to learn something, just go do it. Take the leap of faith. Don't be scared, because I'm living proof of someone who took a leap of faith through a bear market, made it through, and now I'm on the other side and everything is starting to come together. And it might take you a couple years to figure it out, but you still can keep your job and do everything. So I would just implore all of you guys to not be scared. Don't let the whole idea of crypto and all this confusing terminology stop you. Get the information, learn about what you don't know, right? Know what you don't know so that you can know what you know, right? And if you do that, you're going to see more success in everything, whether it's crypto or not, that you do. And focus on that, number one. And you'll feel so much more grateful for everything that you do when you do it because you love it and you're passionate about it. And COVID, as much as it sucks, we'll leave you with that. As much as it sucks and you might be stuck at home, I'm not. I'm lucky. I'm in Thailand. We haven't had that. And I still stay at home and work all day. But if I was stuck at home and I couldn't leave, find ways to benefit your life. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Life sucks sometimes. Life is amazing sometimes. But overall, if you take the time to really focus on you and doing something that will benefit yourself or your husband or your wife or your kids or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your parents, whatever it is, you're going to be so much more successful and you're going to be more grateful for everything that you do because you're going to do what you love. So focus on that because you have time to do it right now. And I'll leave you with that.
Absolutely. That is an absolute great final thought for us today. I appreciate that. What are ways that people can learn more about what you got going, Coach K, and can connect with you?
Absolutely. So if you guys go on to Twitter, I'm not super active because I don't really care about the whole glam of being Andre Kanji or, CZ. But even though they follow me and stuff, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But you can find me on there if you want to connect with me. I do talk to people. It's at Coach K Crypto. If you look on Telegram, it's the same thing. On Instagram, it's the same thing. If you go on LinkedIn, it's the same thing. So it's pretty easy to find me. I use a very branded at Coach K Crypto everywhere you go. And then if you're going on and you're wanting that free course that I did or my weekly videos that I do, kind of breaking down the market, analyzing from a fundamental. I also interview people just like Richard does. So if you want to come on to my show and do that, just follow me at Coach K Crypto on YouTube and subscribe and like. Smash them up. Do the same for Richard, man. And hit that bell. You know what it is.
For sure, man. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. And for everyone listening, stay cryptocurrent. Hey, cryptocurrent crew, you asked and we delivered. We have received multiple requests for access to cool crypto and blockchain projects that you could use immediately. Well, we have recently launched our partnerships page. If you go to our website and go to the partnerships tab, you'll be able to see multiple companies that have partnered with us to not only give you access to the cool products that they have to offer, but then also give you cool discounts to get started today. So please go to our website, go to the partnerships tab, and check out the various partners that we have today. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information on today's episode and all of our episodes, please visit us at www.crypto-current.co. You can also find a link in the show notes. Want to stay up to date in the latest news in cryptocurrency? Sign up for our newsletter today. You'll receive daily emails Monday through Friday that are personalized and curated content specific to you and your interest, powered by artificial intelligence. You can either go to our show notes or go to our website to sign up today. Are you an accredited investor looking to invest in cryptocurrency? Crescent City Capital can help. Go to crescentcitycapital.com for more information. I don't know if you've noticed, but the quality of our podcast each week are improving. I can only thank my amazing producer, Andrew DeRitter with DeRitter Productions, who has been putting all of this together. If you have any podcast, music, or audio needs, please go to DeRitterProductions.com. That's DERITTER Productions.com.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cryptocurrent with Richard Carthon. We'll be back with more exciting developments from the world of blockchain and cryptocurrency next week. But until then,